the channel. Also, see the description. Let's start the movie summary. The film opens pre-snap, before Thanos, Josh Brolin, used the Infinity Stones to wipe out half of all life in the universe. Clint Barton aka Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner, is still on house arrest. He is spending a lovely day with his two sons, his wife, Linda Cardellini, and his daughter, whom he is teaching to use a bow and arrow. He turns his back for a moment and, when he turns around, he sees every member of his family has turned to dust. Jump forward to after Infinity War. Tony Stark aka Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., is in a spaceship with Nebula, Karen Gillan. They are out of power and quickly running out of air. All seems lost until they float past Carol Danvers aka Captain Marvel, Brie Larson. She tows them back to Earth where she had been summoned by Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, before he was killed in the snap. They arrive and are greeted by what remains of the Avengers, Steve Rogers aka Captain America, Chris Evans, Rocket Raccoon, voiced by Bradley Cooper / acted by Sean Gunn, Natasha Romanoff aka Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, Bruce Banner aka Hulk, Mark Ruffalo, James Rhodes aka War Machine, Don Cheadle, and Thor, Chris Hemsworth. They ask Tony if he has any info on Thanos and he freaks out, blaming Captain America's going underground as the reason they lost. Tony essentially tells him they are on their own and goes off with Pepper Potts, Gwyneth Paltrow, who also survived the snap. Cloud has an overall thought of where her dad, Thanos, went. The Legends figure out how to find an energy signature showing that Thanos has of late utilized the Infinity Stones once more. They take off to the planet where he dwells and assault. Thanos is effortlessly wrecked. The Legends request to know where he concealed the Infinity Stones, planning to utilize them to fix the demise Thanos caused. He lets the Avengers know that the energy signature they distinguished was his utilizing the stones to annihilate them. Thanos makes sense of that he didn't need his hard and great work to be scattered by shallow individuals like the Avengers. Obliterating the Infinity Stones almost killed Thanos, making sense of his debilitated state. In the wake of finding a sense of peace with the way that Thanos truly obliterated the Infinity Stones, Thor decapitates Thanos and the Legends return to Earth unfit to change anything. The film gets out ahead 5 years. Steve is running a care group for individuals who endure the snap. Clint has turned into a vigilante, severely killing pack pioneers across the world. Natasha runs what's left of the Avengers, including War Machine, Captain Marvel, Nebula, Rocket, and Okoye, Denai. Skipper Marvel makes sense of that she is returning into profound space and will consequently be beyond anyone's reach. In the meantime, a rodent stumbles into a control board in a distribution center in an AXA machine situated in a van. The machine opens a vortex and Scott Lang, otherwise known as Ant-Man, Paul Rudd, arises. He had been caught in the quantum domain. It takes him for a little while to acknowledge 5 years have passed and that a significant part of the world has been obliterated. He hurries to his home and tracks down his girl Cassie. Emma Furman is as yet alive. After their gathering, Scott drives to Avengers Central Command where Steve is visiting Natasha. He makes sense of that the quantum domain permits people for movement through time, yet that they need to construct a gadget that permits them to control the time travel. In the event that they can construct such a gadget, they can pull off a period heist, where they can take the Infinity Stones before Thanos gets them and fix everything. Steve, Natasha, and Scott go to visit Tony. He carries on with a serene life wedded to Pepper and having a youthful little girl. Tony won't help, expressing he has considerably a lot to lose. The triplet then visit Bruce. They see he has idealized the Hulk. Albeit consistently in his Hulk structure, the Hulk keeps up with Bruce's knowledge. And even wears shirts. Mask consents to help, however obviously he can't pull it off. During their tests, they just prevail with regards to evolving guinea pig Ant-Man's age from newborn child to senior resident and back once more. In the interim, Tony can't find out about time travel somewhere far away from me. Dealing with the evening, he can foster a time travel gadget. He wonders whether or not to utilize it, not having any desire to risk the existence he is in spite of realizing that others have endured massively. At last, Pepper persuades him to carry the gadget to the Avengers. He does as such, however tells Steve they need to figure out how to bring everybody back while not transforming anything that occurred over the most recent 5 years. The Avengers choose to enlist the remainder of their group. Dark Widow finds Hawkeye and persuades him that he can vindicate himself and have his family back. Mass and Rocket find Thor, who has laid out a settlement called New Asgard populated by Asgardians including Valkyrie, Tessa Thompson. She makes sense of that Thor has turned into a hermit in the years since the snap, having lost Mjolnir and neglected to beat Thanos. The couple goes to Thor's home and thinks that he is plastered, unkempt, and very fat. He just plays computer games with his companions Korg, voiced by Taika Waititi, and Miek. They in the end persuade Thor to return by promising him bunches of lager. Tony and Bruce effectively send Clint back in time for a couple of seconds and realize they can time travel. They split into groups to pursue the Infinity Stones. Skipper America, Iron Man, Hulk, and Ant-Man will return to the occasions in Avengers when 3 of the stones, time, brain, and space, were in New York. Thor and Rocket travel to Asgard during the occasions of Thor 2 to recover the Truth Stone. Dark Widow and Hawkeye go to the planet where the Spirit Stone is situated, as displayed in Avengers, Infinity War. What's more, Nebula and War Machine head out back to the occasions of Guardians of the Galaxy to get the Power Stone. Every individual has sufficient ability to take double-cross leaps, one to the past and one back to the present. The machines are controlled by Pym particles made by Hank Pym, Michael Douglas, who was killed in the snap. Subsequently, no more Pym particles can be made.